cloud. And there we go. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the skills training for Oils Quintessential. This is August 1st, 2022. And I'm Dave Thompson, standing in for the illustrious Bethany Shipley, who is on a little vacation with her family. And I am really excited to introduce our speaker for this evening. Typically, our skills training on Monday night is a place where you can come if you have an interest in building a network marketing business and you're committed to adding the skills one by one to your life. You can do that here. You can learn the things that you need to know. There's probably really 7 to 10 categories of skills that you need to master to really be a highly successful network marketer. And so you can approach those things one at a time and pick those up and learn them with attention and knowledge and some practice. So I'm glad that everybody's here. And I think it's wonderful that our team offers this resource. A huge advantage of having a leader like Bethany is that she makes connections with just some really, really top-notch people. I mean, look at us, right? But outside of us, she brings some wonderful guests into this space. And I think that's just absolutely fantastic. And tonight is no exception. And I'm excited to kind of introduce Brandon Barber. I first met Brandon around a fire pit, I think. Brandon came out to Kansas City. We sat around a fire and I heard him, just chatted with him a little bit. And then I attended his session on a Saturday at a hotel. And there's one thing that always sticks with me still to this day that Brandon said. I probably had heard the concept before, but he said it in a way that makes sense. He said, when you pass, nobody is going to miss the things that you do. They're going to miss you. So live your life in such a way that you are connecting with people and live with that knowledge. And that really, as a doer, as a fixer, you know, from way back, hi, I'm Dave, and I'm a fixer. I really, it was really helpful for me to hear that. I'm sure I heard 100 other very useful things on that day because I remember it was just absolutely jam-packed. On top of that huge benefit, Brandon, that you've been to me, you've been there for Bethany in ways that I get to experience. You know, she'll often call me and say, I just got off the phone with Brandon. You're just not going to believe. I just had such a wonderful session. I know how much she admires and respects you. And I know that you have consistently brought value for her. And I can only assume for your other clients as well. So to have you here this evening, sharing with us from that well of wisdom and experience is really, really special. So I've got this recorded, and those who can't be here tonight will be able to access the replay. And so just share with us as per what you and Bethany discussed. And these are wonderful people. I get the privilege of being around them and assisting them in some of their work. And I just know that they will eat up what you have to say, and the world will be a better place because of it. So I'm going to highlight your video here, and I think you should be good to go. Everybody, please make sure you're muted because I might not be as slick on this as Bethany is. If you're making noise, I might not know how to mute you. All right, Brandon, go ahead.
Thanks, Dave. How many of you would like to just sit and listen to Dave for a while? I was just like wanting to listen to him. Like come on, I'm serious. What an awesome guy, for sure.
Thanks, Brandon. I appreciate that.
Yeah, him and Sonia are a treat. I'm a fan too. I'm a fan of both of them. And Bethany always has amazing things to say about both of you. So that's always cool. I'd like to spend some more time with you guys for sure. I don't know who's responsible for the picture that you guys put up, but you see, I'm like in a life jacket. Like, that was epic. That was a great picture. So I don't know if it's you or Bethany that I have to thank for that, but that is, I spend a lot of my summer in life jackets because we do a lot of river running. So I'm sure she picked one of my pictures out there, but that was good. That's my happy place. You guys have a happy place? You guys have like a really cool happy place? For me, it's on the river. How many of you, your happy place is work? Oh, you're going to pull up that picture again. There it is. Yeah, it's my life jacket. What's interesting is I have this is a funny story. So I have a type that life jackets come in different types, right? 3 through 5. Well, they come, you could get a type 1 and like, that's what surfers use or some bodyboarders or something like that.
I gotta go get my notebook.
Type 5 are like for people that it's like, it's going to keep you like this far above the water. Like it is going to protect you. Right. And I used to make my kids wear all type 5 life jackets until they got older, and there's more comfortable life jackets like type 3 that don't have this big giant thing on the back. And so they can move around and move their arms and paddle and do things like that and jump off cliffs and into the water and feel comfortable. And so my kids still resent me to this day for making them wear the big giant orange. Now they see they're a little bit more colorful, but back then they were the big orange, like with the big padding on the back, type 5 life jackets. So anyways, that's enough about life jackets. How many of you guys enjoy, like you have a happy place, but it's not work and it hasn't been your Young Living business for the last 2 years? Like that hasn't been your happy place. Am I accurate to assume that's going on? Or how many of you, your happy place has been Young Living for sure? Like, it's like, man, it is killer. I love it. My business is tearing it up. I'm making more than ever. I'm just going to scroll through to see if anybody's hands are up. Like you are making more than ever. You are actually loving it. You can't wait to talk to people. You're jumping out of bed, excited to go build your business. Not happening. What is going on here? What? This is news to me. No, I'm just kidding. It's not. I work with enough Young Living leaders and have for the last 4 years to have walked this path with you and have a really good understanding of what's gone on over the last couple of years. And you guys, Bethany's here. She's like the pickleball court. Oh no, that was Dave. That was Dave. Yeah, I hear you guys are playing a lot of pickleball. I just bought a racket about a month ago and been playing here and there, and it is a blast. I love tennis. I love ping pong. It's like the right mix. It's right there. So it is a really cool sport. I bought this racket for like $20 at Big Five, and I used it for about 20 minutes and it broke. The handle broke right here. So I'm like, so that's what happens when you buy a $20 racket and then you try to get really aggressive like I do and competitive, even though I didn't even know all the rules. Like I was seriously competitive from day one. So I bought a little bit nicer racket. Now I'm taking it a little bit more serious. But yeah, listen, guys, I get it. Like there's been some adversity and some struggle. And how many of you, it's a little bit challenging to get motivated to work your business right now? Anybody? How many of you are not going to raise your hand no matter what question I ask? Like that's how motivated you are. You're like I was everything for me just to get on this call, Brandon. Come on, you're asking me these hard questions. Okay, you're committed, but it's harder. I like that, Sonia. Anybody else? Like, I'd love some feedback. Like, you're welcome to jump off mute or show us your face. I see Laura and Robin and Amy. No face, or I was gonna say Facebook. No Zoom shame, but I'd love to see your guys' faces if you're open to it. Fairly new, still figuring it out. Okay, so we got some new people. Marcy, how you feeling? How are you feeling? You're fairly new and you're still figuring it out. Okay, good. Yeah. So building motivation and building excitement. Well, I'm going to share with you, I got off of a call. I had the privilege of, in 2016, I got the privilege of being what's called a platinum partner for Tony Robbins, one of my mentors. Now, I'm not Tony Robbins, and I pretended to be in the past to be Tony Robbins until I realized one day that I'm not Tony Robbins and I need to stop trying to be Tony Robbins. But right after you spend a year, I was a platinum partner. I spent an entire year watching Tony Robbins. I went to every Tony Robbins event for a year. And it's hard not to be a coach and then go up there and act like Tony and make your move. And, but that's not me. Like I'm a much different human being than Tony Robbins. I'm not that militant. I'm much safer. I am not a warrior. I'm more of a magician, if you want to look at archetypes. So I'm not Tony. I'm me. And it was cool when I defined who I was. Like that was part of my entire process of building more joy and happiness in my business, was finding out who I was instead of trying to be somebody else. Like all of you guys aren't Bethany Shipley, right? She's amazing. She's incredible, but you bring a flavor that is you, and that authenticity is critical, is it not? You guys get that? But how many of you try to be something you're not? You try to be like if I sat here and tried to be Tony Robbins for the next hour and I said, make your move and say yes, you'd be like, wait a second. Come on, dude, that's not you. Like something's not right. So I think authenticity is critical. But I was on a call that I got to be part of this mastermind call because of my involvement with being a platinum partner in 2016. And so every 6 months is we get to be part of this call. And some of the people that are on this call are like, my insecurity immediately starts to go up when I get on this call, because I get on the Zoom call and like I saw seeing the names of these people and I'm like, whoa, like I'm not worthy. I feel like I'm Wayne and Garth, right? That dates me a little bit, but for those of you who know that movie. And there's some of the most brilliant people on this call, and some of the most financial brilliant people, the financial geniuses that some of these guys that are on here, you know, and women are, you know, financial advisors for some of the top financial firms in the world. One guy was on this call. He sits on a board with Warren Buffett, and they were talking, this is about 3 months ago, and they were talking about the economy. How many of you want to talk about the economy? Like nobody wants to talk about the economy. And I just about jumped off the call because I'm like, man, everybody's talking about the economy, this and this. And I'm like, no, like I don't want, but I listened to it. And of course they were all saying recession, 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 and it's coming and blah, 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 all this stuff. And it was just like, man, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to take part in it. Like that was what I said. I don't want to take part in this thing called the recession. Just like I didn't want to take part in the whole COVID situation. How many of you didn't want to take part in it? Just like I didn't want to take part in the fact that Young Living had a problem with their website for a while. How many of you didn't want to take part in that? Right? I don't want to take part in any of that. I wanted everything to be great. In fact, I have this thing that I talk about suffering and living in a beautiful state, right? And you can suffer or you can live in a beautiful state. It's really a choice. And living in a beautiful state means I'm not taking part in some of this stuff that goes on. Because I don't want to suffer. I don't want to focus on my own issues and my problems, my stuff. I focus on other people. And when I focus on other people, it makes me feel better, right? When I'm in contribution like this, 7:30 at night, right? Central Time. I'm with you guys enjoying my time here. I like to hear myself talk. I will admit that, but I also really enjoy like serving and showing up. And if I'm not, then I am an imposter syndrome, right, Angela? Like if I'm not showing up for people and I don't want to show up, then I am going to feel like this imposter in this fraud. But I'm on this call and they're talking about recession, recession, recession. I'm thinking, I don't want to take part in this. And then one guy says, I sit on the board with Warren Buffett, and everybody's asking Warren Buffett, Warren, like, where do you invest your money? And that's a question he gets more than any other question. Where do you invest your money? And even these young bucks that are in their 40s and 50s that are financial advisors are looking to Warren Buffett for advice. And they're like, where do we invest our money? Where do we, in a recession, more millionaires are made. Where do we invest our money? This isn't an investment call, by the way. And you're like, I'd like some investment tips. Well, Warren didn't give any. Like he didn't give any investment tips. In fact, he said, I get asked this question more than anything else, especially in a recession. Where do I invest? And he said, these are the words out of his mouth, the best place to invest is in yourself. And I thought, yeah. When I got off that call, I went, that's where I'm investing. I bet on me. Like I'm not taking part in this recession. I choose to invest in me. I choose to invest in me above all else. I bet on me as an entrepreneur. I bet on me, and I'm like, well, gosh, I got all these adversities and struggles going on. One of the adversities and struggles I have going on is I like to do live events, still do to this day. 2 years ago, we were shut down, couldn't do live events. So then we adjusted, we pivoted our business and we did virtual events. And we started doing virtual events, and then people got burnout on virtual events. How many of you get a little bit burnout on virtual events? And then you still go back to, and then we go back to do live events, and then we're getting like a quarter of the people that used to attending live events. I'm like, what do we do? Like, how do we make this work? And I realized that you cannot be happy just when things go your way. How many of you are happy when things go your way? Anybody can be happy when things go your way. Can you be happy when they're not going your way? That's the question. So either you have expensive happiness or you have cheap happiness. And the question is, do you give up your happiness really easily? Things don't go your way, things don't go your way again, things don't go your way again. Can you still be happy? And I find that the most successful, happy people on the planet are that when things don't go their way. They choose not to suffer. And I think it's because they learn how to be adverse. And so taking on adversity, like really being resilient. And that's what I decided to do after I got off this call. I'm like, I'm going to be resilient. Like, no matter what's going on with my business, no matter if I can't control people, wanting to attend events or virtual events, or I'm going to be resilient. I'm going to take my business on, even if it's not earning the income that it once did. And even if I don't have the clientele that I once did, even if I don't have the impact over as many people as I once did, I'm going to go out and I bet on me.
Recording in progress.
So as an entrepreneur, I 100% I'm going to bet on me. Like, it's just what I'm going to do. And so I'm wondering, guys, at what point do you say, I bet on me? And I don't let anything in the past mess with that concept. Like, it doesn't matter what adversity's gone on. I don't let that dictate me. See, here's what happens. If we make anything or anyone a villain, so think about it. If we make anybody the bad guy or the bad girl, right? If we make, including ourselves, how many of you during COVID made COVID a villain? Anybody? I promise you I did. How many of you made the government a villain? I definitely did. There's two, Judy's got two hands for that one. Yes, they are the villain. They are bad. How about, how many of you made technology the villain? Right? Technology wasn't working right. How many of you made Young Living the villain? And I don't work for Young Living, so I'm not here to convince you Young Living is the greatest thing in the world, although I'm a mega user of their products, but I'm not a Young Living business builder. I'm not a brand partner. How many of you made your significant other a villain? Or have you ever made your significant other a villain? Come on, you have. How many of you made over the last couple of years yourselves the villain? Yes. Here's the problem with this. When you make somebody else a villain, you become what? What is it? You guys hate this word. I hate this word. But if you make somebody else a villain, you become a victim, 100%. And you get stuck in what we call the trauma triangle. So the trauma triangle is saying there's a villain here and a victim here, and we're waiting for a hero or a saver, not the savior, but a saver, somebody to come in and save us or rescue us, a rescuer, right? The trauma triangle. And if you think about the trauma triangle as this triangle, all of our old traumas get messed and mingled up in here when all we did is make some little thing the villain. All of our old traumas, and your traumas could be little, they could be small, they could be big traumas. I don't know, but our traumas show up. And then we show up like we're 9 or we're 12 or we're 14, or our nervous system shows up in fight, flight, or freeze, or appease. How many of you recognize this? The minute you make somebody or something a villain, you become a victim. So I realized too, and I do the same thing. Like I remember when I got sick, I made cancer. Like I got 3 years ago, I got a cancer diagnosis of all things. Like I made cancer the villain for a long time, and I became a victim, and I felt like a victim. And every day I woke up, I was like, I'm sick, I'm ill, I can't move, I'm not healthy. Until one day I went, you know what? Cancer's not a villain. Like it's not. And I'm going to take advantage of this, and I'm going to go get extremely healthy. And I did. I'm in the best health of my life, and I'm 50 years old. I have the body that I wanted when I was 30, when I now at 50, right? And it's like, because I made a decision to not make cancer a villain anymore. But I did the same thing around, I'm not going to make our financial world, the recession, I'm not going to make it a villain. I'm not going to make COVID a villain. I'm not going to make a company a villain. I'm not going to make the government a villain. I'm not going to make the world a villain anymore. I want to take responsibility because I got so sick and tired of falling into that trauma triangle. And then I feel like I was 9 years old again, 12 years old, 15. I felt like everything would trigger me. How many of you guys relate to this? I'm curious. Yeah. So I think resilient people take responsibility. And in that moment, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, I said, I'm going to take responsibility for my business. And Michelle and I, Michelle's my wife, we sat down and we said, let's take this business on at a different level. And we've like, oh my gosh, we've already had to pivot like 9 times in the last 2 years. We got to pivot again. I always think about that Friends episode where Ross is carrying the couch up the stairs and he says, pivot, pivot. It's pretty funny, but again, dating me in my movies and TV that I watch, but we got to pivot. Like we got to pivot. And I looked at I've always looked back at my business and I said, okay, where is my business? Like, where am I on my scale in the scale of business? Because our life cycle, it's interesting that Dave talked about passing earlier. It's like, where are you in your business? I think our business cycle is the same as a life cycle. In other words, we have a birth and we have a death. And in between, there's a lot of different areas that we go through in our business, just like a life cycle. And where are you? And I think I'll be able to share my screen. Oh, no. Can you, Dave, do you know how to allow me to share? Make me a co-host? I want to share my screen and I want to share this with you guys. I'm going to share with you the life cycle. Oh, thank you. So I'm going to share with you a little bit more about the life cycle of what a business looks like. So can you guys see my screen okay? 10 stages of a life cycle of a business. If you look, this would be a life cycle of a human's life. We have birth, we have infancy, toddler, teenager, young adult, maturity. I'm not sure when I'll quite get there in my life, but Michelle assures me that it will never happen, even though she's there. Midlife evaluation, midlife crisis, maybe, like calling it about an evaluation instead of a crisis. Aging, institutionalization, and then death. So not the most popular topic if we were talking about life, but think about your business and where you are in this cycle. If you look at birth, it's like maybe, I can't remember who it was earlier. Was it Marcy? Was it you said that you just started? So maybe Marcy's a birth, right? The moment you take on the risk, you say yes to this business and you work on your own needs, like you're working on this. This is the birth. Infancy, where are you at infancy in Young Living? And infancy is like the race for survival. I'm trying to survive. This is maybe where we hire somebody. This is maybe where we are officially say we're running a business, where we're focused on our production, but cash flow is a significant challenge. Is that where you're at with your business? Or are you at a toddler? You're managing things by crisis. Your business is kind of walking and talking on its own. I always like that concept. You've begun to build management teams, or you have systems that are built, right? Everything's accelerated and cash flow is still a concern. Are you a teenager? where your crisis is created by management, right? Or you've developed a team now, and maybe that team is still a team of one, but you're a teenager. Cash flow is no longer a massive challenge. You have growth. There's focus, innovation. More means better. Your go, go, go leaders don't attend the meetings. How many of you have some go, go, go leaders that aren't attending all your meetings, right? So teenager stage. Maybe you become a little bit too confident, like teenagers do, right? And then there's young adult, beginning to anticipate the future and making more of a committed choice. And maybe there's a limit on what you focus on. You start to focus on your systems a little bit more. You redefine what success really is long-term. So there's more of a long-term look at this. Then there's the zone of maximization, the maturity, right? You're reaping the rewards of everything. And you've developed a system for managing businesses that allows you to consistently meet all the needs. Your business is run by a management team, or at least by a system. You have an organization that knows who they are or what they are. Like your go-getters are go-getters, and they know what system to follow, and you're profiting. Your sales and profiting are growing. Like, where are you? And what happens? How do you get to the zone of maximization and maturity other than time? How do you get there? If that's the ultimate place, we don't want to have a midlife evaluation, although some of us have had to do that, and then maybe slip back into toddler. It's like I had to have a midlife evaluation like 3 or 4 times and then kind of go back. But when I realized this, I really hadn't reached that zone of maturity in my business that I thought I was at, that I was really in a teenage phase. And that all of these challenges that I've been having in my business have been helping me to gain a level of maturity in my business. How many of you have looked at your business like that? How many of you have looked at your challenges over the last 2 or 3 years as it's really helping you gain your maturity in your business? Isn't that true of life? Didn't the last few years challenge you in life in ways like you've never been challenged? And they've helped you mature as a person? Maybe you've become a better parent. Maybe you've become more of a patient leader. Maybe you've become more of a loving significant other. Maybe you've had some new belief systems that you didn't have. Maybe you've had some understandings that you haven't had. I don't know, but I do know this. There's an old saying, and we've all heard it. That which does not kill us makes us stronger. And I think it makes us more mature if we look at it that way. So I don't know where you are on this, but I do know this, that a lot of people will let life, let issues, let problems set them back in life and not let it build them. I've been in business for 23 years, guys. I don't know if there's a lot of people that can say they've been doing the same business for 23 years and running it in a healthy way. See, I don't just run it I don't just run a business. I run a business happily. And it's because one day I made the decision to not achieve to be happy, but happily achieve. So I decided, you know what? I don't want to achieve to be enough. I want to happily achieve. And 4 months ago, I decided to make my business a success again. I decided to start building on my business and working on it, even though things weren't perfect, even though things weren't necessarily working the way I wanted them to. I wanted to make that happen because I wanted to happily achieve again. How many of you are so focused on your income right now that you're not really happily achieving? Or how many of you are not getting the results you want, so you're not happily achieving? How many of you are feeling a little bit burned out, so you're not happily achieving? And what if I told you this, that that's what the whole thing is about, happily achieving. It's not about achieving to be happy. It's not about getting results. I know results are important. Listen, I know you don't work for free. Nobody works for free, but what if you just, you couldn't wait to, you were excited to achieve, like that's what you really wanted to do. What if your business was the place to do that? What if your Young Living business was the place to go put in the effort to build that purpose again, to feel that fulfillment. It's the thing I've seen that more people are missing out on more than anything else, is feeling fulfilled. Like, I don't feel fulfilled. People are saying, I don't feel fulfilled. I don't feel fulfilled. I got to go find another job, or I got to go find another business. I got to find another side hustle to be fulfilled. Like, how many of you want one more side hustle in your life? Like, that's not, and you don't even want to hustle. Like, that's not what you want. What if this business, even though your Young Living business isn't the ideal place, it's the, or the giving you the ideal outcome, it is the ideal place for you to go spend time to create that fulfillment. Because what if you're the person, your brain, maybe not you, but your brain's been in the way of you getting and making that happen? And I get all the struggles you've gone through. Listen, I don't work for Young Living. Like I said, I'm not here to convince you to make Young Living the most incredible thing in the world and go spend all your time there. I don't work for them. They didn't pay me to come here to say anything. I just know in my business, I love it. I love helping people. I love serving people. This happens to be my medium, my place that I do it in a coaching environment. If yours is Young Living, why not engage there? Why not happily achieve there so you build more fulfillment and spend some time and effort there? And I know that might be a challenge when you don't get the same outcome. I'm not getting the same outcome that I used to get. I'm not. Like, we used to get, 500 people to attend an event. Today we do an event, maybe 50 show. Today we do a virtual event. I may get 100 people, maybe 150. We used to get 1,000 people to show up to our virtual events. Like, what's going on? The world is changed. It's different, right? People are in a languishing state. So I get it. But I'm still going to work my business because I want to feel fulfilled. And I realized by engaging in my business and engaging with people and helping people, like, hopefully this helps some of you tonight. Like, that's my goal. If I can really contribute in some way, shape, or form, that becomes my focus. And when I contribute, I don't suffer. I don't struggle. I don't have issues. I don't have problems. I have problems, but they're better problems. We all have problems. We always have problems. The problem is some of us think we shouldn't have problems, right? That's the biggest problem. We are going to have problems. We just want to have better problems. So I have good problems today. I do. I have really good problems. My problems are I'm not getting as many people to show up to things, but that's a good problem. Like, I like that problem. That's a better problem than cancer. It's a better problem than one of my kids being sick. It's a better problem than some of the people that are struggling today. So I decided I'm not taking part in the recession. I bet on me. How many of you are up for that? Like, that's legitimately what you'd be up for. I'm not taking part in some after COVID effect. I'm not taking part in some recession. Like, I'm betting on me. And it doesn't mean I ignore that. It means I get my butt to work. And I did. 4 months ago, I got my butt to work. Michelle and I got our brains together and our hearts together. And we said, let's go work. Like, that's where we're going to really make the biggest impact. Let's go work. Let's go put in effort instead of making everything the villain. Like, oh, I can't go do our events. That's where I make the biggest impact. And that's where I get to act like Tony Robbins. And I get to stand up and beat my chest and everybody gets to listen to me. It's like, that's the place I felt the most significant in the world. Like, no, like, I don't have to do that. As long as I'm impacting lives, let's go work. Let's go put in effort. And we had to get creative and we had to find new marketing tools and new marketing efforts. And that's what our businesses are all about, right? Marketing and sales. So I had to find different ways to engage and different ways to build people up and find different ways to have my voice heard and to communicate my fulfillment. Guys, if you don't have a place that you're in expression, think about this. If you don't have a place that you're in real expression in some way, shape, or form, I don't think you can feel fulfilled. So if you can't be an expression in your relationship, in your intimate relationship, I don't think it can be a totally fulfilling place. If you can't be an expression in your business, I don't think it can be a totally fulfilling place. So are you out in expression? And I needed to express myself. And I needed to find different ways to do that. And I'm not the guy that goes on TikTok. Like, I don't want to go on TikTok and Facebook, and it's not my space to go into all those different social media platforms. That's not where I like to go. Michelle, my wife, likes doing that. I don't like doing that. So that wasn't my place. That wasn't for me. It might be for some of you. That wasn't my deal. I had to find, where do I express myself? Where do I find that expression? And then I can find that fulfillment because I'm serving people. Where can people hear my voice? And we had to rethink things, right? Because again, think about it. Over the last 2-3 years, how many of you have had challenges? How many of you have had challenges? How many of you are still having challenges? It's good. Because guess what? The hero or heroine story always has a challenge. How many of you would go read a book or watch a movie about a hero or a heroine where there wasn't a challenge involved? They're going to have challenges, and you guys are going to be part of those. You're going to be like, yes, but how many of you would go see this movie? It's a movie about a woman who grows up with the perfect parents, and she has these perfect parents, and they're wonderful to her, and they talk to her, and they witness her, and they buy into her, and they don't mess her up at all, right? And they speak into her, and then she becomes a teenager, and she's like a prodigy teenager, and she gets done with high school at 15 because she's so smart and her parents listen to her forever. And then she goes to school, of course, at a young age, and finishes college, and she's valedictorian of her school. And, then she goes on to build a beautiful, wonderful career and has the most perfect children in the world that, of course, she shows up for every day and doesn't yell at ever, right? And then she just lives this beautiful life, and then lives or leaves this magnificent legacy. And that's the story. How many of you want to go see that movie? Come on. Reality. Sarah's like, I want to see it. Come on. You don't want it. Oh, that was your son or your daughter, right? Somebody else is like, yes, but there's nobody wants to see that. We want a challenge. We want to see somebody overcome a challenge. We want to see somebody go through the struggles, go through the problems, and then come on the other side of it. Am I in agreement? Every single story, fiction, fact, either one of those stories, whether it's, Cinderella, or it is somebody, real life, right? I named somebody in real life, like Nelson Mandela, right? Viktor Frankl. Like some of these people that I went through real life, they were challenged, they overcome the challenge. And that's what we buy into. That's what we love to see, because that's the story of a hero. That's the story of a heroine. And aren't you living that life right now? Like, I know I want that to be my story. I didn't want to live a tragedy. I didn't want to be the guy that was stuck in the corner, sucking his thumb, curled up in a ball because he couldn't deal with cancer. Like, I didn't want that to be my story. But I also wasn't the guy that was like, yes, my day is so beautiful because I get to see the sun today. Like some of the kids you see in cancer wards that are like, they have the best attitude, right? And you're like, how come I'm not like them? Like, I want to be like them. I'd still feel sorry for myself, and I'd cry, and I'd worry, and I'd have stress. And it's like, yeah, I had all that. And I still overcame cancer. So because I realized it's a hero story that I want. I don't want a tragedy. I don't want a story that is not told that's beautiful. I want to create my story. And so if I'm challenged again by something else, health or financial or business, I'll take it on again. And if I'm challenged again, I'll take it on again, because I know that's what heroes do. And I want that to be my story. How many of you want a hero or a heroine story? A great leader story? How many of you want that? So then we got to deal with these challenges by asking ourselves one question. When we have a challenge, we have a problem, we have an issue, even if it's not ours and we didn't cause it, how is this helping me learn? How is this helping me grow? So that I can build myself and my business to a place of ultimate maturity. Again, if this is the place we want to get to, remember, this zone of maximization, maturity, reaping all the rewards, developing systems for a mature business. And you could say, you could replace that with life that allows you to consider and meet the needs of the community, the world around you. You serve yourself and others in a substantial way. Like, that's the zone of maximization. It's run by others. You show up and you get to lead. You don't have to manage. And sales and profits are growing. Happiness and joy are growing. That's the stages of life. That's the stages of a business. That's where we're trying to get to. And I think the only way to get to that place is to ask ourselves in all of the challenges and struggles is to say, how is this helping me learn? How is this helping me grow so that I can serve others? How many of you have said that over the last 3 years, 2 years, when something's shown up, when COVID hit, and it hit again, and it hit again, and it hit again, and there's a problem with the website, and there was a problem with this decision, and there was a problem with this, and you said, how am I learning and growing so I can get to that zone of maximization? I can get to that maturity place. This is helping me get there. Because would you all agree that, I don't know if Cinderella reached her zone of maximum. I guess she did, right? I just saw the Cinderella play a couple of weeks ago, and it's different than the movie, right? The play is very different. And they modernized it and some other things, but she reached her zone of maximization, love, happiness, serving a kingdom, right? But she had to go through adversities and struggles. Nelson Mandela, leader of an entire country, wrongfully imprisoned for 25 years before that. Viktor Frankl wrote one of the greatest books I've ever read in my life, Man's Search for Meaning. Nazi concentration camp before that. Now, I don't know if you guys have had that level of struggle or that level of problem where you're wrongfully imprisoned or Nazi concentration camp. Maybe some of your lineage did. I don't know, but those are real problems. But how'd those people look at them? And you go, yeah, but those are heroes. And I'm like, can't we be ordinary heroes? Like every day in our lives? And that's what I think. That's what I think of when I think about building resilience and really building us as people. We have to go into a space that says, I'm going to take on this adversity and this challenge differently because I want a different story in my life. Listen, every hero or heroine, when they're asked to take on a challenge first, what do they say? They say, no way, wrong person. I got cancer. I went, you got the wrong guy. I'm not here for this challenge. I'm not here to take it on. Nope, wrong person. You're going to throw another challenge in my business? I've been in business for how many years? You're going to throw another one at me? I got another challenge I got to deal with. I got to pivot again and again and again. Nope, got the wrong guy. Got the wrong guy. I'm out of here. We all say no at first, but then what happens? The hero always eventually says yes. They always eventually get thrown into what we call the road of trials. We eventually have to go into what we call the abyss. Right? We have to go look into that nasty dark cave where all of our stuff's there, our health, our income, the way we act as a parent, the way we act as a significant other. We have to go look at that and go, do I like the way that looks? My face is on all this stuff. Do I like it? I don't like it. And we have to face it and make a change. I had to look at myself and go 35 pounds, 40 pounds overweight, eat very unhealthy, everything processed, don't exercise an awful lot. Yeah, I don't want to look at that. I don't even want to deal with that until I had to. Yeah, financially in a difficult place. I don't have to look at that. I've never had to deal with being in a financially difficult place. 2008, I had to look at being in a financially difficult place. 2015, I had to look at it again. 2020, I had to look at it again. Why do I have to keep looking at these difficult financial places? I just like to be in the place where everything's going well. Like when everything is just killing it. I don't have to worry about what I'm spending. And I can invest in whatever I want to invest in. Those are nice places. But am I growing and learning when that's happening? Plus, here's the good news. Guess what happens in a recession? You know what industry thrives? Network marketing. people aren't looking for network marketing opportunities when the government's giving them money. But when they don't have any more money, they're looking to make an extra $100, $200, $500. Are they going to find you? Because you're out serving people. Or are they not going to find you because you're hiding or you're making things still a villain? So here's the good news about a recession. If you're in network marketing, and I'm not, I'm coaching a lot of network marketers and you guys, but not a network marketing business. But what a great opportunity. Make sure they see your face. But you got to be out there living your fulfillment, expressing yourself, right? And this is the time. Get a head start. Get a head start. Because the hero's story is a better story. I'm looking for the next challenge. I know it will be there. Yeah. And I want to offer you guys a challenge. Are you ready for a challenge from me? We have a challenge for you. How's that? And it is a challenge. It's what we're calling the Young Living Rank Up Challenge. Designed for brand partners just like you guys. It's where we're going to teach you, I'm going to give you, it's 5 days. It's a 5-day challenge where we're going to give you the tools to make a bigger impact, influence, and income. How's that? Over 5 days. 5 days where I bring you guys like everything, the meat and potatoes. Like I'm bringing you, like this is a no fluff challenge. This is a not 5 days of, you know, here's a little fluff, here's a little bit here. Like I did in my industry, here's what they're teaching in my industry, in the coaching world. Charge high ticket items, find as many people that are affluent that aren't going to be affected by any financial thing. Find those people to pay you. That's the idea. And do as many videos as you can so you don't have to show up and do it for other people. So you can replay videos. That's what they're teaching in my industry. So I thought, you know what? I'm doing the opposite. I'm not going to throw out a bunch of videos. I'm going to show up because I want to be involved in my business. I'm not going to create some high ticket $10,000 offer. We do have those kind of things in place. If you want to work with me really intently one-on-one for like 6 months, we have those kind of things. But I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to just give away a little bit. That's the concept in my industry. Give away a little bit so they really like it, but don't give away everything. Just give a little bit so they'll pay for what you really want. I'm like, I'm going to give it all. How's that? Like, how many of you I've given, you feel like been withholding things today? Do you feel like I've been withholding anything? I don't feel like I'm withholding anything, right? I haven't teased you into anything to get you to buy something. I want you to take part in this challenge, but when you see what it costs in a minute, you're going to be like, come on, really? So then the other thing is I'm not going to make a high ticket offer. I'm going to charge next to nothing. Our 5-day challenge is me showing up for 5 days, giving you worksheets that you're going to work through each day. So we do it line by line, mindset changes, helping you change your mindset in a way that's going to help you create fulfillment and go out and happily achieve, not achieve to be enough or be happy. That's the goal of our 5-day challenge. So that whether it's a re-rank or it's a rank up, or it's just, I'm building my business because I can't wait to, I'm excited to. That's what our 5-day challenge is. And it's $9, guys. Here's why I make it $9. And how many of you have gone to some of the $9 and $10 things and you're like, you get a little bit of information and then they sell you this big package of something. That's not what we're doing. We're not bringing you in so I give you a little bit to taste on and then you're going to want to spend hundreds of thousands or thousands of dollars with me to do more. That's not what this is about. This is about me bringing 5 days, jam-packed information. I'll give you an invitation to do something beyond that if you want to do something beyond that. But again, that's minimal cost. But I'm bringing it in the 5 days. Like I'm bringing it all. I'm not giving you a taste of something. I am bringing you 5 days jam-packed It's legitimately, if I did this program for a company, I would charge them. If a company, in fact, Young Living has charged me, or they haven't charged me. They paid me to do a program. I've had a couple of other companies pay me to do a similar program, and I got paid 10 grand in different avenues to do something similar. But I'd say for 5 days, this is legitimately about $1,000 program for what we're bringing, $9. And I didn't want to come today and just pitch you on the program. I wanted to give you value today. So you don't have to come join us in this program to get more value. If what I said today made an impact, I've done my job. Because remember, I want to serve. That's where I feel fulfilled. If I'm not serving, I'm not feeling fulfilled. So we're going to show you in these 5 days how to create impact, influence, and grow your income in a way that's not done through social media. You might decide to do some social media, but I'm not going to teach you how to be the biggest, giant, most impactful digital influencer. That's not my job. That's not what I want to do. I want to help you with your mindset. I want to help you grow your mindset so you're building fulfillment every day. So we're going to do this over 5 days. It's $9. And I'm going to walk with you myself every single day. I'll put the post in there right now. I'll put the link. It's ylrankup.com. You got to put the www in front of it. I don't know why, but you do. But ylrankup.com, that's all it is. You go there, you sign up, $9. Then you go to a Facebook group that you'll be part of. That's a private group with other Young Living individuals in different levels. Some of those people are Crown Diamond wanting to get to Royal. Some of them are just started their business and they're wanting to get to Star. That's where people are going. So they're in all different levels that are part of this challenge, but we're going to learn the mindset tools. Like that's the stuff I'm going to help you. And I'm going to use my 23 years of experience, 23 years building this business, worked with over 1 million people. I've had the privilege of spending time with people like Tony Robbins and a year with him. I spent 9 months with Brene Brown. I spent, oh my gosh, workshop after workshop after workshop, hours and hours and hours and hours of books and books and thousands of books. And I'm going to share with you in a very systemic way over 5 days, how to create the right mindset, to create fulfillment, to happily achieve instead of achieve to be happy. And that's what we're going to do over 5 days. We're going to make it happen. So it's ylrankup.com. And we'll dig in a little bit deeper to some of this stuff, some of the resiliencies. But I want to ask you guys, like, what path do you want to take? The hero's path? Or do you want your story to be a tragedy? And maybe that's just a decision you make today. And that decision doesn't have to be, join us. That decision just makes a decision to be a hero. And you're going to have to do some things with that. You're going to have to welcome challenges. You're going to have to go on the road of trials. Here's what I do know. When you go on the road of trials, you say yes to the challenges, you get 2 things. You get elder wisdom. That means you get wisdom from people that have gone before you, that have walked the path before you. They don't have to be older than you. They might be, but they walk through the struggles and they give you wisdom. And the second thing you get, no matter what your beliefs are, you get spiritual aid, whether that spirit to you is God or the universe or whatever that is, but you get spiritual aid along the way. You get course corrected when you voluntarily take on the road of trials. There's this old ancient Roman proverb, and it says, fate will help the willing, and those who won't, she will drag. Listen, I didn't take my health serious, right, for 45 years. And I got drug. I got cancer. At 47, I got cancer. And then I had to deal with my disease. So if I could go back in time, I would have volunteered to take on my health. I would have made it a lot more important. The same thing's true of what you're in right now in life. Are you waiting to get drugged, or are you volunteering? are you stepping into the challenges and taking on the road to trials and looking into that abyss and going, I don't like what I see down there, but I'm going to take it on anyway. I'm going to look and see that my face is on my body, and my face is on my Facebook page, and my face is on my paycheck. And I want to change it. I want to make an impact, because that's what the hero does, because that's what I want my story to be. So guys, it's been my pleasure. I don't even know how long I had to, I probably was supposed to be here for like 20 minutes and I'm like an hour later. But I'd love to see you in the Rank Up Challenge. I'd love to see all of you there. If you can take part in it. Again, it's legitimately $9, and legitimately, I cannot look you in the face by making this claim. This is going to be worth $1,000. You will be in this event and go, oh my gosh, this is training that I would have paid $1,000 for, at least $500, at least at a bare minimum. I can't look you in the face and say that legit. And it's $9. And here's the good news. We did this challenge with another network marketing company way before you. They had an average of a 30% increase in sales and a 50% increase in productivity when they took part in this. It made such an impact in this company. The vice president called me the Monday after our challenge and said, whatever you're doing, like, you need to come speak at our convention. And whatever you just did with these people, 750 people took part in this challenge in this other company. So whatever you did with them, we got to have you at our convention. And I'm like, you bet. When's your convention? They're like, next week. So Michelle and I literally flew out to Miami to be with this company and help their team the following week, because they saw such a massive impact. We'd like to do the same for you. Oh, by the way, this company had website problems for the last year, just so you know, right? And they were a lot younger company than you are, with, let's just say, you know, our auto ship from them now is nowhere near the size of the box that comes from Young Living. So we'll just say that, right? So guys, we'd love to have you come take part in it. I'll put this link up one more time. If there's any questions we can ever answer for anybody about anything, don't hesitate to let us know. And we really are here to serve you. So Dave, Sonia, Bethany, if you watch the recording and you're like, Brandon, you took an hour, you're supposed to take 20 minutes. I know, shame on me. I'm not going to go into shame, but I'll go in a little bit of guilt. So I'll go into a little bit of guilt, but hopefully we served you guys in some way, shape, or form. So
you absolutely did, Brandon. Thank you so much. There's no way I was going to interrupt that, because that was fire. If you want to unmute and give Brandon a word as you leave, we really appreciate it. And I know a lot of us are going to be joining you for the Rank Up Challenge.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you so
That was
much.
Brandon. That was terrific. Thank
Love
you.
it.
Amazing.